Hi, I'm Ted London, Senior Research Fellow at the William Davidson Institute at the University of Michigan. I'm here with Max and Whit Alexander, two very interesting folks that have gotten involved in a new venture in Ghana. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Thanks, Ted. It's great to be with you guys today. The company is called Burro, and we started it about 4 years ago now in Ghana. And the objective with Burro is to deliver tools that build better lives. So we are creating a direct sales model with resellers who live predominantly in the villages, but also in the cities, who can take a whole range of innovative products that improve people's productivity and explain those in detail and create that final mile distribution channel to bring more and more innovations out to folks.
So can you talk a little bit about your background and what led you to this venture?
Yeah, well, prior to Burro, people say, my goodness, what a crazy jump for you, because immediately prior to Burro, I co-founded and was COO of Cranium, the board game company. And prior to that, I was 5 years at Microsoft, where I led a bunch of product development on the map-based products there. But what a lot of people don't know is before that, for most of my 20s, I lived and worked throughout West Africa. So I actually did African studies at the Georgetown School of Foreign Service and my third year abroad in Ivory Coast, and lived and worked, in Mali, Niger, all over there. And so for me as a young man, I was always impressed with the amazing innovation that was happening. And there was always the better cook stove and the better mosquito net and the better solar lantern and the better water filter and the better corn variety. And I just began to ask myself, if all of these things are better, then why isn't anyone building a business out of them? And so we set out to try to be really the Sears catalog of bygone years for the developing world and bring that expanding line of innovative productivity tools directly to people.
So why Ghana?
Friendly, free, and fair. Ghana's a beautiful place. There's a guidebook or two that calls Ghana Africa for beginners. And we knew we'd have enough challenges on our hands trying to get this business model right and getting ready to scale up across the continent and beyond. So we didn't want to take on too many challenges. Ghana's incredibly stable, robust democracy, wonderful welcoming people, strong cash economy, history, lots of great reasons to be in Ghana.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of where you are now in the business and what you've learned going through that process?
Yeah, right now we are still just a single pilot branch operating in a secondary city that's a regional capital, about 150,000 people. It's called Koforidua, and that's by choice because we are trying to show that we can create these hubs, if you will, around which we can do regular distribution and tap into our reseller network. And so we've kicked that off. We have learned so much. We really began with a rechargeable battery service, and that is phenomenally successful. People pay a small deposit, a small fee for each time they bring a battery in to exchange it for a fresh battery. And we've since followed that up. We've got some follow-on product that uses that. Let me just show you quickly. We've got this thing here is the Burro phone charger. 80% of Ghanaians this year are projected to have a cell phone, Ted. 50% of people have access to the electric grid. So needless to say, charging your phone is a major challenge. And so this uses the Burro batteries directly. It's got USB out. And whether you're a cocoa farmer in Koforidua or a road warrior in O'Hare, this is a great way to keep your phone charged. So where we are right now is trying to demonstrate that we can get a broad enough catalog to create a profitable hub and then to start scaling that up very quickly.
What's perhaps the most interesting thing you've learned so far? Now, you've been at this about 2 years, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, actually almost 4 years
Almost
now.
4 years.
I'm embarrassed to admit, but
Okay.
we're learning faster now. So we're getting really great traction, seeing great growth. And I think, for me, anybody contemplating something like this, I'd say, the top 3 or 4 things for me are the money's all gone, okay? There is so little disposable income for people. You have got to focus on productivity for people. Save them money or let them earn more money. It's hard to sell change. You've got to have that direct relationship, be able to explain things one-on-one. It's going to take longer than you think, okay? It's a challenging business environment. That leads right to my next one, which is, there's this old UK civil defense poster that I just love. It's keep calm and carry on. And if there's a single lesson for developing world entrepreneurs, It's to look for that guidance from your local team. These folks are experts in coping, in dealing with the local situation, in facing down adversity and making great change. And so we look to our local team in Ghana to keep things on the rails and keep us moving forward.
And Max, now you've spent some time in Ghana.
That's
and
right.
actually written a book.
I did.
Can you talk a little bit about why the book and how's that come out?
Sure. I went over to Ghana first in January of 2009. My brother had just very recently started up the business, and I had an idea that there would be a good book to do on this subject, but I wasn't sure. And what I saw when I got over there was that he was treating these customers as customers. He was not treating the Ghanaians as charity victims or, pitying them in some way. His relationship with them was very much a one-on-one. And when I saw that, I realized that that would sort of give me the permission, if you will, to write a book that could have some fun with it all. Because we weren't over there pitying these people. We were doing business with them. And so the book operates on several different levels. I mean, on one level, it's a good guidebook to how to start up a business in a developing country. But it's also kind of an African travel adventure, and I very much wanted it to be in the spirit of the old travel adventures of Stanley and Livingstone, and obviously Africa is not the same as it was in the colonial days, fortunately, but there's still plenty of unknowns over there, and so it was a lot of fun to experience all of that.
Of course, the book's title is Bright Lights, No City.
Bright Lights, No City, yes.
And what was maybe the most surprising or interesting thing that we'd find when reading the book?
Well, I was actually very surprised to find that many Ghanaians thought my brother and I were twins.
Oh, mistake.
Which that is not true at all. But I think that, a lot of the things Whit mentioned are definitely right there in the book too, about just needing to be very flexible on the ground. And one of the things I learned about starting up a business in a country like that is you're just not going to figure this stuff out from sitting at a desk in Seattle or London. You really need to be there. All of the
maybe Ann Arbor though.
Maybe Ann Arbor would be fine. All of the innovative stuff that Whit came up with for Burro really grew out of spending time on the ground, talking to the customers and figuring out what their needs were. And that speaks to the point of having to remain flexible. You've got to be able to tear up your business plan and start over again when you're on the ground, because you will find that things do not work exactly as you had anticipated.
So in writing this book, obviously you want to sell copies, but is there a bigger message behind this book that you want people to hear?
Yeah, I would say the larger message here is just to go to another country. When you go to another country, try to remain open and experience people on their own level and accept them for what they are. Every day in Ghana there are so many challenges all the time, and you just have to accept that things are done differently somewhere else. And you just kind of have to live with that and try to see the world through their eyes. And I try in my writing to observe people in their own environment, and I don't try to make suppositions about people. It's like I can certainly have fun with people and describe things that I think are funny, but I'm not making a judgment about it. It's like, hey, that's the way they are. That's the way it is, and that's cool.
So now the business has been 4 years. You've written the book.
Yeah.
Someday you may do a sequel.
I'm hoping.
Maybe.
What do you think the sequel will say? Or what would be the big message in 4 more years?
4 years? In 4 years, it'll be the Burro success story of, blowing out an amazing brand across Ghana and in our first, secondary, tertiary countries and markets. I think that story will be that Burro is building better lives for millions of people across West Africa initially. And it's so interesting, Ted, doing this book tour and getting this message out and people hearing about the Burro products. And I think in the last week I must have gotten, a dozen emails from a dozen different countries saying, where's the business in a box? Can I become the Burro agent in Guinea or in Liberia or, this country and that country? even South Sudan. And so, you know, that's where I want to be. We're trying to figure out that secret sauce and bundle it up and get ready to scale, scale, scale. And I can't think of a better guy to tell this story than my brother Max when we're there.
I hope my book inspires people to go out there and try it. You know, nobody gave my brother permission to do this. He didn't wait for a major corporation.
Actually, my wife did.
Your wife did,
about
yeah.
that.
He didn't wait for a major corporation to say, okay, Mr. Alexander, here's some money, go over there and do this. He just did it. And, you know, I know that there are lots of young people who want to make a difference in the world and who probably suspect that, you know, just buying a ticket to a Save Africa concert is really not going to do much. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I know people are thinking there's something else I can do. And I hope that the book inspires people to just go try something. Go do it.
Terrific. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Good luck with the business.
Thank you, Ted.
Good luck with the book,
Thanks,
and we
Ted.
look forward to hearing about the sequel.
Great.